Hi, I'm Will, and this is the 31 Days of Lifetime, a sort of advent calendar for sommeliers, which is, I think, how you say that word. I made it my mission to watch every single offering in Lifetime's 2020 holiday catalog, but I won't be doing it alone. Each day, I'll be joined by a special guest or guests that will help me dig into these instant Christmas classics. Today, I am joined by the love of my lifetime, Sarah Kmiecik.
Merry Christmas, Will.
Merry Christmas, Sarah. We are going to be discussing the 10th film in Lifetime's lineup, Christmas on the Vine. Brooke, a young marketing executive, goes back to her hometown, excited to relive her Christmas memories while helping a struggling family-owned winery. Her marketing assignment involves an unlikely partnership with Tyler, the charismatic yet stubborn owner of the winery. Brooke quickly learns that the town's Christmas spirit has disappeared due to a wine conglomerate buying out all of the local wineries. Determined to bring Christmas back to the town, Brooke and Tyler work together and discover they share more than a love for wine. Christmas on the Vine premiered on November 13th and stars Juliana Gill and John Core. Sarah, what is your relationship with Lifetime Christmas movies?
Well, this was my very first ever Lifetime Christmas movie. I feel like as an actor, I've gotten all that I think I could get from the preview alone.
What do you think of the title of this movie? If you were on Netflix or something, would you have stopped to watch a movie called Christmas on the Vine?
Seeing as I had a pretty good choice of which one I was going to watch this year, this one definitely caught my attention because I myself am an avid wine drinker.
Did this movie live up to your expectations in regards to its depiction of wine?
I was really impressed with how quickly the main girl, Brooke, seemed to she went from knowing nothing about wine until the end, which was, I'm assuming this is like 3 weeks later.
At most.
3 weeks later. She knows everything. She was giving the descriptions that you give when you have to take the sommelier, whatever, the test to become one.
Yeah, a long way from gummy bears.
Yeah, a long way from gummy.
Which is relatable because that's how I would describe like a fruity wine.
This tastes like a gusher.
I'm like, ooh, Haribo, look at that. On that note, what did you think of the two leads?
You know, the woman, Brooke, I feel like she really carried the whole thing. Obviously it's her story, but I could tell she was built for stage A. She was doing a lot, okay? Doing a lot with the face. But also I could see her doing better things, I guess. She did a lot better than the guy, and I can't remember his character's name. Oh, Tyler. Tyler. The noises he made, I thought we were in like a musical, and you know sometimes during songs how you have to say your line and then you add like a little to pause just to make sure it's timed right with the music. I felt like he was doing that all the time during it. He was always making these little like noises, you know, throughout the whole movie.
Now, what did you think of his hair?
His hair needed a lot of help.
It was bad. It looked like straw.
Yeah, it was uneven. Like, it was his haircut that was not good.
Oh, yeah. The bangs were like choppy, pointy Lydia Dietz bangs.
Yes.
Did you think they had chemistry?
No chemistry. He was also super whiny, and he would go and he'd be like, oh yeah, like family, and then 2 seconds later he'd be like, you don't know anything. And then he would leave.
Yeah,
And
they had
Brooke,
that big argument at the end because she was like, I made some wine. And he was like, you don't know shit about wine. Why the fuck are you trying to like make wine in my company? First of all, it made no sense that that was an assignment that she would have for this like big like ad firm for her to go in and like help this struggling winery in middle of fucking nowhere. Like how are they paying her? Why did she go there in the first place if they weren't like planning on hiring her?
I'm confused of what they wanted from her at the beginning, I guess, because they were like, we need help marketing. And then she's like, have you thought about decorating? And they're like, huh?
And then at the end, they get in that fight, right? About, her bringing wine in. And then she explained, she's like, well, it was your grandfather's wine. And I'm like, why wouldn't you have just said that?
How did she find it? And they seem to never know about it. She just like opened a notebook and was like, look at this hidden recipe that you guys never knew about.
There was a scene too where Brooke brings up how Tyler played football in high school. She's like, you could have gone pro. And he's like, no, I didn't. I wanted to help the family business. When it's like in most movies, it would be like, no, you should follow your dream.
Yeah.
Go after what you want to do. But in this, he's like, no. And she's like, okay. Family's important in this movie.
It is. And she kept talking about how she was like, oh my gosh, I loved when the Christmas lights got so tangled. And it took us so long to untangle them. That's like my favorite tradition. Really?
That's a chore.
That's your favorite tradition?
Like, I like cookies. I don't know. I like
sledding.
I like having fun. Just get a rope if you know what I mean? Like, you could do that all year round.
Yeah.
If you want to untangle stuff. This is the first one where I feel like we have a pretty clear antagonist for the entire movie, and she never really gets a redemptive moment. She's like consistently pretty awful.
Yeah. She had this moment at the end that I was like, oh my God, what? This needs to be unpacked. Brooke was like, oh, like my family tradition. And then the antagonist, she was like,
well, you had some kind of childhood. Not like the one I had. Wish I'd had yours. Anyway,
Brooke hears all these like horrible traumatic things from these people complaining about their lives, and they're like, I'm unfulfilled, my relatives are dead, we're gonna shut down, whatever, and her response is always like, oh.
Like, Merry Christmas.
Okay.
Can I just say, if I were Brooke, and she's going back to her hometown after years, it seems like, she is saying hello to all of the high school people that she used to go to school with, like, she loves them. But if I went back to my hometown, like when I see people from high school, I'm diving behind tables. I'm like, yeah, I do not want to talk to you or see you.
There are like 3 people from high school that I'm like, let's hang out. And then he went to high school with her, but he didn't remember her, which I also thought was funny, because they're like, it's such a small town. And I'm like, how many people were in this high school then?
Yeah, he's like, no, I don't know, yeah.
So, a lot happened in this movie. And Sarah, you have one scene that stuck out to you. What scene is that?
The scene that stuck out to me the most, AKA while I was watching it, my face was like this. For most of it, was toward the end where they're trying to decide which wine they want to be the wine of the year or the wine of their Christmas party. So she comes in and they have 3 wines and they're like, oh, perfect. We need another person to tell us what is good, like what should be the wine of the year. And you would obviously be perfect, Brooke, since you are an expert by now after 2 weeks with us. And she's like, yes, oak, very earthy, complex aromas on the finish. I'm like, where are you getting all this vocabulary? And then they're like, we don't know. And then she's like, how about a wine that I made? And they're like, okay. So she gets out this wine and she's like, try it. And the the head woman, the mother, is like, "Oh, that is so good." Which, what are the chances that it would be good? Like, okay, I'll mix 3 wines together, and you know what? It's probably just gonna taste like wine. I don't know. It's not gonna be great. That scene stuck out to me the most because who the heck does she think she is to be like, let me give you this, and then I'm gonna leave because I've only been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, she's like the expert on everything in her mind. But that moment was kind of, in most of these movies, would be the moment where she's like, I've grown. In this, her like growth moment is that she learned wine and now she's telling them what to do. It's not one of her flaws at the beginning, unless you're counting in like her major character flaw of being she doesn't know anything about wine. Imagine if that was in other pieces of fiction. What if their major character flaw that they had to overcome was not understanding the intricacies of wine?
I wish that was my major plot point in my life. I wish that's what I was working on.
How to make a blend?
Oh my God, how to make a good red blend.
But I think about like the Odyssey. He's like, I have to go. I have to leave. Sail into ancient Greece because I don't know how to make a good red blend. Wizard of Oz.
I'm off to see the sommelier.
A heart, a brain, some courage, and the instructions on how to make a good red blend.
Also, can I say one more thing? The fact that the offer, she's like, the offer's on the table until midnight on Christmas Eve. That honestly is the biggest flaw in the entire plot to me, because who does that?
An evil woman.
Until after the holidays.
Yeah.
January 1st.
Well, here's the thing. I think if she would have sold it more, then fine. Like, if that woman was, like, chewing the scenery and was, like, big and grand. But, like, every line she had was, like, she was apologizing that she had to say a line.
Anyway,
Before we go, as we wrap up, I have 2 little questions for you. Question 1, John Core as Tyler. On a scale of 1 to 10, how dateable is this character?
I would give him a 1. A 1. From the wig to the attitude to all the all the little noises he would make, I think that would just get really old. He stormed out so many times.
That is the lowest score we've gotten so far. So
now I feel mean.
Well, it's fine. You know, some people just aren't into these Lifetime boys.
Yeah, no, not for me.
A 1. Interesting. Well, he will not be winning the award at the end of the year. The next question: who would you say is the MVP of this movie?
I think a special MVP award needs to go to that little boy, Michael, who was in the pageant. And he was like, I know what I have to do. I have to improvise. And then he like runs away and adds 2 words to his original line.
Well, Sarah, where can people find you if they want to follow you in your life?
Like to follow me. I'm on Facebook occasionally. Otherwise, you can follow me on Instagram, which is Kmiecik. Good luck spelling that.
I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Sarah. And thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about Christmas on Wheels with Paige Demba and Rhea Bradley. And every day this month to talk about a different Christmas flick. If you had a holly jolly time watching this video, you can go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to follow me into my descent into Lifetime madness, you can subscribe and press that little bell icon, because every time a bell rings, you'll get notified about a new video that I post. I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.